Hey everybody, I am Bryan Cohen, and I am very excited to share this with you today. We are going to go over some of the book descriptions that you submitted to Reedsy for today's Reedsy Live, and we are going to go over it. I am going to show you some of the tips and tricks I have learned to improve these descriptions. First, we're going to start off with 10 book description headlines and first lines, and we are going to take a look at what we can do to improve. So I'm going to start with the book Love is Not Arrogant or Rude. So this description starts off with, is true love for everyone? And then goes into, that's what Morgan wonders, an introverted secretary whose feelings for her boss, Jason, secretly bloom. So, in my opinion, it's good to be a little bit vague with our descriptions sometimes. Is true love for everyone is a little bit too vague. It looks like we have kind of a love triangle situation going on here with Morgan. So, we want to see something more along the lines of Morgan choosing between these two guys. So maybe we want something more like, she's always loved her boss. But then we have this old flame, but her flame still burns for her ex. And then how will Morgan choose her soulmate? This isn't perfect, but this is just us kind of playing around with how can we make this appeal to someone who is looking for a book about a love triangle. Well, we bring out the love triangle in the actual description. So we bring in the love triangle. That is the way to make sure that readers who are interested in that can go into this, or even just the first line, knowing this is a book for them. So that is the way to make sure you're going to appeal to your target readers. Give them exactly what they want. So going too vague can be a little tough sometimes, but if we kind of just zoom in, let's figure out what is it our readers want. Let's go into that. And one of the reasons I love for romance specifically is a 3-sentence structure is because you have one love interest, another love interest, or if it's just a guy and a girl, the guy, the girl, and then will they get together? What's the cliffhanger? Are they going to get together? Yes or no? So that is how we play around with that one to make it a little less vague. Let's go down to the blue stain. I believe it's stain. It might be strain. Let's see. Nothing is as beautiful as the testimony of a blessed life, but sometimes the universe will take you on a woebegone journey before you reach your final destination. This is a bit of a challenging one in that we've kind of gone very ethereal. We've kind of gone very, we've kind of gone woo-woo. If you've heard my Somewhere Book Show podcast, you know that we talk about the term woo-woo sometimes. This feels pretty woo-woo, but if we go down here, we have that it's about an actual person. It's not just an ethereal book here. We have Sheehan Donovan is a famous Irish pianist. His aloof neighbor, Colette. So there's people here. This is actually a relationship. Now, it feels like kind of a literary fiction type relationship. So it's a little heightened, but it is not just a woo-woo kind of book. So we need to bring it back down to reality. So it looks like we have Sheehan Donovan is in prison, and then he's kind of living alone in the beach. So I don't know if he's actually done the manslaughter, but we can have something that prison broke his spirit. So we see Sheehan, we're mentioning, here's his part of the headline, prison broke his spirit. Then we have Colette, who's a gifted painter, but also an alcoholic. So we even see the demons line there. She has demons of her own. Now, they've got this journey of self-discovery. Eventually they find each other, but they find more than just that. So we have together, they'll find each other and their true selves, or something like that. None of what I put here is perfect necessarily, but I'm trying to make sure that you see another option. So we don't have to prove that it's a higher aimed book, a literary fiction type book, by making our description very, very literary. We can make it accessible in addition to appealing to our genre readers. So we have the guy, prison broke his spirit, the girl, she has demons of her own, and then together they'll find each other and their true selves. If it was just they're going to fall in love, maybe we find together they'll find each other. But because we have higher aims here, we go with and their true selves as well. Easily as we possibly can, we want to make sure that we are focused on our readers. It's not about how cool our book is or this really literary phrase we put together, this cellar door sort of combination of things here. We want to make sure that readers love this stuff and care about it. Blind justice. Gareth Dawson is an innocent man, not a murderer. His main problem is that the British justice system doesn't agree with him. So this is a this is a legal thriller here. So we want to kind of know in thrillers, we often want to know why this book needs to be read, why we should care. What are these high stakes that are going to happen to Gareth? Now, from what we have here, we have Gareth Dawson is an innocent man, not a murderer. His main problem is that the British justice system doesn't agree with him. The problem is that only gives us where Gareth is in the beginning of the story. We need to know what's going to happen to Gareth. We're almost telling a little story in a very short amount of time here. Now, this kind of stuff about Gareth being innocent, etc., that can work really well as the first line of a description after this kind of hook that we have here at the beginning, after this headline we have at the beginning. But we need to go a little bit deeper. So we have that Gareth is a prisoner, he's been proven guilty, he's approached by a lawyer, and his fight for freedom begins. But we really want to make it a question. So we're going to start by saying, an innocent man sent to prison for life. So we have that we have his situation. A lawyer with a second chance. So he has this opportunity that he might be able to actually get out of prison. So we're building up to this. Now, from the description itself, I don't really know what the cliffhanger is. His fight for freedom begins, but what's the obstacle? What is the conflict? He's in prison for a crime he didn't commit, and a lawyer is sharing some information with him that might get him out. But what's standing in his way of getting out? Is it public opinion? Is it a crooked judge? We don't know. So I can't, with the information I have, complete this as I'd like to, so I'm going to make something up. So, if an innocent man sent to prison for life, a lawyer will say, gives him a second chance. Can he overcome a corrupt system to clear his name? So, we need some additional information there, but we want to give our readers stakes here. We're not just summarizing our plot. We are going above and beyond to say what it is exactly that our protagonist is dealing with at the beginning of the story, and then when that push comes to shove at the end. So, can he overcome a corrupt system to clear his name? That may not be exactly what your story is about, but you can change that based on what your story is. And let's move on to the next one, Black Bead. So this is a young adult book, and it actually doesn't have much of a hook right at the beginning. What we have here are a couple of editorial reviews. Technically, you're not supposed to put excerpts from reviews into your book description. It's one of those things that is technically against Amazon's terms of service, but very few people actually abide by. So I'm not even going to worry about that necessarily. But I don't think you should necessarily have a review right up top. I've seen people do it. I would rather have a hook. So we're going into this description. On a savage outlying planet, on an enclave of psionically trained humans have built a utopia. Plot. Here we go. We have gone through this many words until we get to our main character. Why is that an issue? Well, I'll tell you that if you look at the most appealing books of all time, the Harry Potters of the world, the Hunger Games, people connect with the characters. And there's no rule against people connecting with the characters in your description itself. You might have the coolest world ever, but if you don't allow your readers or your potential readers to make a deep connection with your characters in there, then they're not going to be that interested in the book. All the plot machinations and settings that you include in your description, they're going to matter a lot more if you see those things happening and that place surrounding a character that we connect with. So, Chiobon, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Chiobon is our character here, our main character. The daughter of the first ruling mother to the dome is marked with the black bead on her choosing day. And so maybe our first line, instead of being there, is about Chiobon. So alternate first line. Chiobon has been looking forward to choosing day for her entire life, or for as long as she can remember. But when she's marked with the black bead, a symbol of shame and bad luck, she wonders if her whole world will come crashing down. Do we have the context of the setting? Not really. But do we start to get a feel for who Chiobon is? For who this character is versus what kind of world she lives in? Yes. Look, I don't have the description for Divergent or Hunger Games or any of these dystopian worlds in front of me, but they sure as heck have the character up high and featured. Divergent was so successful because of the character Triss. I'm not a fan of that series necessarily, but Triss is a character that many young girls connected with because she was different. And we're having this kind of same setup. The Chiobon seems to be kind of the chosen one sort of thing. She's almost chosen as Divergent from the beginning, and sorry to conflate those two titles if that doesn't really fit. But we want to start with the character. Now, this is the second line. This is what would go after the hook. But it's a very important thing to keep in mind when we are doing our descriptions. Nonfiction, The Language Immersion Life, a Guide for Families. Language immersion is a remarkable educational opportunity in which young children acquire a second language beginning the first day of kindergarten. This is a fact. It's followed by another fact. It's followed by another fact. But what about the book? What am I learning from this book? What is this book teaching me? If language immersion is a educational opportunity, then maybe this book is geared towards parents who are experimenting with language immersion. So maybe, are you experimenting with language immersion in your family? We've got a problem that people are looking to solve. Someone wants to learn more about language immersion. So we've got a problem that people are searching for on Amazon, that people are searching for on Google. So we want to make sure they know this book addresses that problem. Are you experimenting with language immersion with your children? Discover a step-by-step system to get the most out of your family's second language learning. I don't love that. I think it could be better. I want to show you that what you want to do is you want to frame your book as the solution to this problem. Someone is looking to get language immersion to work for their family. You come in and say, my book is the solution. Discover this system to get the most out of your experimentation efforts. So that is how I think almost every hook for nonfiction should go. Memoir is a little bit different. You kind of start with more of a fiction hook, but and then you may have some benefits listed later on. I'll touch on that when we go into the full descriptions. But that is what I recommend for nonfiction. The Storm of Shadows. We have a couple quotes here. I already mentioned how I think quotes. You need to kind of decide: are you going to do quotes? Are you not? Storm of Shadows. Dreams may come true. Nightmares do. It's a little vague. So dreams may come true, but maybe dreams may come true, but nightmares always do. You know, like we make it more intense. We just take it another level. You want to make sure that when you read this out loud, it doesn't kind of give a pause in your mind. Dreams may come true. Nightmares do. Nightmares do what? Oh, they come true. It takes a second to figure. You want to make it as clear and easy as possible for your readers. And so, dreams may come true, but nightmares always do. But if we are having some crazy dystopian Arctic Circle scary thing that's happening here, so we might even take this another level. Dreams may come true, but when a monster comes from the north, nightmares always come true. Because do at that point is a little bit distant from the come true. Come true. I don't like the double use of come true there, but we need to sometimes be a little more specific, especially if we've got a creepy monster. Like, seriously, if you have a deranged abomination, that's cool. Readers who like books about monsters want to see that happening. So let's mention the deranged abomination in the hook to get our readers excited. Next one. White Plains. Power can come to anyone. Like nuclear power, like solar power. You know, it's a little too vague here. And we have this young adult fantasy. 17-year-old Samuel falls through this gateway in Earth's forest into a world at war. So, and then he meets a girl who is going through portals. We probably want to touch back. It seems like there's not a lot of information here. But we want to kind of touch on, well, what's happening with this guy? So, a boy falls through a portal to another realm. He may be their only hope for peace, or something like that, because he's in this dropped into this war realm, or he may be the only one who can stop a millennium-old war, or something like that. And I spelled millennium wrong. But we want to see that there's a fantasy aspect, so there's through a portal to another realm. And then we have this war. We have this long-standing war. I'm not saying that's what you need to use. You never need to use one of these hooks that I've suggested, but you may want to consider taking this as a starting point and then using that to kind of branch off of. The heart of the world, a land destroyed by war, an army of giants on the rampage. Can a crippled girl heal the world before it dies? This is like a B+, A- hook. This is so great. I'm so happy with this hook, but I want to point toward the power of words. Words have certain meanings for people, have certain feelings that they convey for readers, and I want to focus on the word crippled here. So, she may be crippled, she may be disabled, she may have this situation that's wrong with her, but I think that certain people might take that word the wrong way. That doesn't mean take this out. It's certainly possibly could work. Maybe it converts, but if it's not converting, if you're running ads to this and it's not converting, maybe there's a chance that even one word that just rubs people the wrong way could be causing them an issue. So, can a crippled girl heal the world before it dies? Maybe we change this to, can a broken girl heal the world before it dies? I like broken better because broken still, it has, there's a feeling evoked by broken, but crippled could get people who are really PC about that sort of thing to be turned away. So even sometimes one word, changing one word, can make a difference. Mother of Mars. All life in the solar system is about to be wiped out. That's not bad here for Mother of Mars. That is not bad at all. But we need to keep in mind that it might not be enough because it's just focusing on plot. So what is the cliffhanger? I think that Melanie Destin, is trying to prevent the destruction of all life. It says, and her meddling will make her the catalyst for the destruction of all life in the solar system. So maybe we make this a little bit more about Mel. She just brought new life to Mars, and obviously this is kind of evoking that first line, so we might need to change one or the other. But experiments have consequences, like all life in the solar system ceasing to exist, or something like that. So we have that character brought in there, and then we have that character in here again. I will point out, Dr. Melanie Destin thought she'd started a new life on Mars. I may have read that wrong, because all that pathogen stuff. I thought she was like experimenting with pathogens and starting a new creature or something. So obviously, twist that around if that's factually incorrect. But I love that you have this sentence here. Dr. Melanie Destin thought she'd started a new life on Mars. That's good. We're starting with the character. That is what we want. So we get the hook in there, we bring in a character in the hook, and then we see what is the big cliffhanger that could happen. So, the Affordable Flight Guide. We're back to nonfiction for this one. What if you could fly anywhere in the world for $50? I like this hook a lot. I think that it could work. I think there's a chance that it won't work because it's not what people are searching for. Or if at least you use it here, and jumping right into kind of the bio here, Jen, that might not be the right tack. I like to kind of do a few things here. I like to have problem, solution, like I mentioned earlier, problem in the form of a question that people might be searching for, and your book framed as the solution. A couple more questions, and then establish your expertise, which you do a good job of here. Jen Ruiz is awesome. So I feel like basically the framework I like to use, you've skipped over a few steps, but that doesn't mean this couldn't work. I would change it slightly. Are you tired of paying top dollar for domestic and international flights? Discover how to save big bucks whenever you take the friendly skies, or something like that. So we have a problem. Flights cost too much. What's the solution? This book is going to be your solution. So we like what works about that is that some people, just from knowing that this book is a solution, potential solution to their problems, they say, boom, snatch it up. Because nonfiction readers, they will buy every single book on a subject. So if you can at least prove that your book is in that genre, then you're in great shape here. Let's do a full description, everybody, from beginning to end. Let's Just Be Friends is the name of this book. What if the man you've always loved isn't the right one for you? So it looks like we have another kind of, have another romance here. What if the man you've always loved isn't the right one for you? I like second person, but I don't always think second person works. I think it can be too specific because not all romance readers want to think about this love in their own life, and especially because they're looking for the happily ever after. What if the man you've always loved isn't the right one for you? Are you trying to get readers to think that their husband sucks or something? Sorry for using the word sucks. I know that's a trigger for some people. But you need to think happy thoughts here. You need to encourage people to be very happy that they're going to get a happily ever after with this book. So let's talk about this. Rose Atwood has been in love with her best friend for years. She's tired of keeping her feelings secret, being Tyler's best friend, etc., etc. So she can't stop loving her best friend. Now, what do we here? What do we have about Tyler? We don't have much about Tyler here. So we might need a little bit more about Tyler. I may end up having to make something up. So, because in these descriptions for romance, I like to make sure that we have both parties represented. The man and the woman, or the two women or the two men, depending on how it's set up. So she can't stop loving her best friend. But they just became roommates. Will close quarters reveal a secret and a chance for romance? I don't love the rhyming of chance and romance there, but we're trying to get something going about the situation. We're trying to get something about this situation between the two of them. So instead of doing the second person, sometimes that's a better way to go. Rose Atwood is tired keeping her feelings a secret. With every passing year, it becomes more and more difficult to keep her love for Tyler under wraps. So I'm using some of the language you have, but I'm trying to use a little bit of momentum. So with every passing year is kind of a phrase that you can use at the beginning of a description, with, before, after, etc., to give it a little momentum from the previous sentence. So we're like transferring momentum from this sentence to that sentence. With every passing year, it becomes more and more difficult to keep her love for Tyler under wraps. It doesn't help that her best friend, we might need to change that around because we haven't officially. We did in the hook say that they were best friends, but we can kind of play around with that. It doesn't help that her lifetime best friend is in a serious relationship with the snottiest girl Rose has ever seen. We want to get to we don't need to even know about Rose's long-term boyfriend because she cares about Tyler. We want to have kind of a cliffhanger almost in this paragraph. When she loses her apartment after a bad breakup, Tyler offers her a spot on the couch and a chance to get closer than ever before. ... We don't need a ... but it's kind of a fun little way to show the cliffhanger made manifest. So I'll copy this up here. Now, Georgiana wants Rose out of the house. Rose wants Georgiana out of the life. It doesn't seem like Georgiana is necessarily that important, but if she's a POV character, obviously we'd do this different. But it seems like it's a romance between Rose and Tyler here. So Tyler offers her a spot on the couch and a chance to get closer than ever before. As tensions between Tyler's girlfriend and Rose heat up, Tyler wonders if the girl of his dreams was right in front of him all along. That's a little bit more cut to the chase than I'd like to be. I'd probably, if I had more information about Tyler, I'd probably do a little paragraph about Tyler. But since I don't have that and we only have a few minutes left, I kind of wanted to cut to the chase here. Tyler wonders if the girl of his dream was right in front of him. His dreams was right in front of him all along. With the chemistry sizzling between them, Rose forces Tyler to make a choice. Then we can kind of go into the if he says yes, she's in love, but if not, she loses her best friend. So kind of take his stuck-up girlfriend and lose his best friend forever, or choose her for a chance at an incredible future. Something like that. I say something like that because it's not necessarily going to be perfect me just doing this live. And I did not look at these before other than to choose these. So if we had Tyler in there, we might have done something a little bit different. But let's kind of go with what the synopsis is right now. And I'm going to show one or two more things. She can't stop loving her best friend, but they just became roommates. Will close quarters reveal a secret and a chance for romance? Rose Atwood is tired of keeping her feelings a secret. With every passing year, it becomes more and more difficult to keep her love for Tyler under wraps. It doesn't help that her lifetime best friend is in a serious relationship with the snottiest girl Rose has ever seen. When she loses her apartment after a bad breakup, notice that's another phrase building a little momentum there. Tyler offers her a spot on the couch and a chance to get closer than ever before. As tensions between Tyler's girlfriend and Rose heat up, Tyler wonders if the girl of his dreams was right in front of him all along. With the chemistry sizzling between them, another phrase to build momentum, Rose forces Tyler to make a choice. Take his stuck-up girlfriend and lose his best friend forever, or choose her for a chance at an incredible future. So now, after that, we would actually say, we're going to do 2 more things. Let's Just Be Friends is a humorous, contemporary romance. So we're going to say what this book is. If you like unsure heroines, simmering chemistry, we'd probably do something different because we already mentioned chemistry before. And best friends who want something more, then you'll love this author's witty, romantic novel. And then buy Let's Just Be Friends to see if these besties can go to the next level today. That's not perfect, but what I like with the selling paragraph and the call to action is to say what the book is. The name of the book is a humorous contemporary romance. If you like these adjectives, then you'll love this author's witty. If you like this, this, and this, then you'll love this book. If you love this, this, and this, then you'll love this book. People are looking for reasons, additional reasons to buy. And if you don't feel comfortable using your own adjectives that you make up, look through your customer reviews, see what they've said. And then buy Let's Just Be Friends, buy the book to see what happens today, to explore a wonderful romance today. This gives almost a command to tell these authors or tell these readers what to do. And if they have 90 windows open, they might not be thinking straight. So you need to make it very, very clear. So let's go into the last description, and then I will take a couple of minutes for Q&A. In or out, a guide to practical decision making. Are you in or are you out? In or out of a relationship, in or out of a job, in or out of an outing? Why are decisions so hard to make? Both life decisions and small daily decisions. As we mentioned above, we want to have a problem in the form of a question right at the beginning. And what you've done here is you've had AI. What you've done here, AI, is you have a lot of questions. But we want to almost have a more specific question. So, do you have trouble making decisions in all areas of your life? Do you have trouble making decisions in all areas of your life? It's a little too close to the subtitle, but at least we're getting kind of a question that would tie in with what people are, it would tie in with what people are searching for. So, do you have trouble making decisions in all areas of your life? We would go into now your book framed as the solution. Discover a practical system for making decisions quickly and effectively to move forward in your life. Life would be to move, maybe we make it to achieve everything you dream, so that we're not saying life twice. So, do you have trouble making decisions in all areas of your life? Discover a practical system for making decisions quickly and effectively to achieve everything you dream. So, we're putting this in there, in here. Now, what I like to do next is put in a couple more questions to expand our bases. Do you feel like you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of your jobs, relationships, and social? I almost use encounters. That almost makes it feel like Tinder or something. And social engagements. And we might have another question. Are your big and small life decisions weighing you down in equal measure? We have AI here. An academic, a surgeon, a podcaster, etc. He is experienced in researching decision making. Author, and we might want to choose 1 or 2 things here. Author and podcaster, AI, I should have just copied it. Shoukri, big author and podcaster AI Shoukri, spent years looking into the decision making process. He's helped hundreds of people, I'm assuming through his podcast, figure out how to make the smallest and the largest decisions in their life a breeze. And now he's here to help you do the same. So we don't have a lot of time here. I would go into this fully, but basically to kind of just go through the last couple parts here, you would go into kind of your synopsis here. So synopsis, about 3 sentences that would, if I can spell sentences right, that kind of go into the contents and why this book is right for the person. And then we would go into bullet points. We already have some bullet points here. So I would say in and out, or maybe inside in and out, so it's not in. Inside in and out, you'll discover how to easily make decisions that can affect your daily life and work. That's good. How to understand the philosophy and motives behind your decisions. You want to look at not just what people are getting out of this book, but what's the further extension. So they don't just learn how to easily make decisions, learn how to easily make decisions to take your life to the next level or something like that. So we want to take it one step further. Then we would have our selling paragraph. So we would say in or out, something like, I'll go all the way to the bottom. In or Out is a landmark book for making the important decisions in your life. If you like expert advice, easy to follow instructions, and a down-to-earth teacher, then you'll love A.I. Shawkry's fantastic resource. Buy in and out to make the best decision of your life today. It's a little cheeky, but it's kind of funny. So I'm going to go with it. All right, folks. Glad you guys found this helpful. If you're interested in having me back, I had a good time. Maybe we can get the tech to work. Maybe we do this in another couple of months or something. But thank you. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye, everybody.